What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back with another video today. What's it, Patrick? See? The never-ending exploitation of Olympians. My fault. Uh, yeah, because Olympians don't get paid for being in the Olympics. They get paid for the endorsements they get if they perform well, right? Or I'm pretty sure they get paid by a company that trains them and stuff like that. But yeah, but they rely. I think they mostly rely on strictly just endorsements. That's if they do well. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna see. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we gonna get into it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
When I was a kid, Olympians were living proof that hard work and discipline could earn you the world's respect. Today, we have Olympians twerking on the world's largest stage so they can get a boost in OF subscribers.
Oh, damn.
Countless Olympic caliber athletes are resorting to softcore adult content to fatten their bank accounts. It's gotten so bad that British canoeist Kurt Rosentals has been suspended due to his edgy videos. And while some have accused these athletes of selling their soul, there is some complicated nuance to consider. The financial reality of being an Olympic athlete in most countries is, quite frankly,
why suspend them if they're not making money? They need money. Like, you want me to be the best athlete for my country, but you're not paying me to be that, because you know what I'm saying, what you
embarrassing, which results in many of them working regular part-time jobs in addition to training and competing at the highest level.
I feel like I am one of the best in America, so if I can do that while I'm at one point working 2 jobs and DoorDash and everything like that, then I can imagine what I can do if I didn't have to do it.
There's times where I don't even have money in my bank account.
Today we are going to dive into the broken economics of the Olympics, why athletes are resorting to selling their bodies, the good stories, the horror stories, and the deeply uncomfortable truth about where our society is headed. There's something special about the Olympics that just doesn't exist for regular professional sports. Across nearly all countries and cultures, the Olympics are highly respected, and they are considered to be the highest echelon of human performance. Therefore, winning a medal means you've trained harder and outcompeted everyone else on Earth. Even superstar athletes that make boatloads of money in their respective leagues express wanting to compete on the world stage, not just to prove themselves against global competitors, but because the games are about representing your country with pride.
Describe what keeps you coming back and making sure that you're a part of Team USA every year.
I love representing my country for one, and the culture that US.
The differences between basketball players, track stars. There's like, nigga, look, we can have gold in polo, and nigga, you would not know what them niggas look like. We can have gold in, I ain't gonna say gymnastics. Now that's a little different. Gymnastics, gymnastics players. I'm trying to think of a random ass sport, fucking javelin. You're not gonna know who those people are, even if they run gold for your country. You know what I'm saying? Because media ain't gonna find those things. Good media, they don't think that's. They rather post that basketball is struggling in the Olympics than post fucking so and so won gold in javelin, especially in America. I don't know about other countries.
Created since I've been in the league, it's just been family atmosphere, so I always love being a part of it.
For me to get a gold medal is insane, and I thank God for the opportunity to experience it.
Now, competing in the games is borderline a part of our DNA. It was an ancient event that dates back over 1,000 years and then was formally brought back by the International Olympic Committee in 1896 in the spirit of peaceful competition. Even when the world is divided, the Olympics have always been a place where different nations compete on equal ground. You might see athletes from countries that don't have good political relationships standing on the same track or even sharing the podium. It's a reminder that people, no matter where they're from, still respect things like hard work, discipline, and passion. One of my favorite parts about the games is that every medal is officially treated equally. So any medal earned in extremely popular events like the 100-meter sprint, gymnastics, and soccer earn a country the same amount of points as a medal in less popular events like archery, rowing, and fencing, which means that these more niche sports matter just as much as the popular ones.
Right.
However, in terms of cultural value, public perception, and ultimately monetary value, not all medals are seen as equal. Now, you would think that the world's most
nobody give a fuck about swimming until Michael Phelps came along. Nobody. And they name a star before Michael Phelps. in swimming. Thank you. Name of a star afterwards. Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Prestigious athletes, no matter what sport they are in,
It'll
would
be that one person that can
financially
name one by
compensated in a
somebody
way
else,
that
but
allows
no.
them to solely
One
focus
person.
on honoring their country in the games. But sadly, that is far from the truth. And that's because the IOC simply refuses to pay Olympians. The International Olympic Committee is a not-for-profit, non-governmental body based in Switzerland.
But they making
in the
money.
4-year cycle after the Winter and Summer Games, they generated $7.6 billion through broadcast rights, sponsorships, and licensing deals, and they pay the athletes absolutely nothing. No appearance fee, no prize money, no share of the revenue whatsoever. Compare that to professional leagues like the NFL
so
or
they
the
don't
NBA,
get paid at all.
where player unions collect nearly 50% of the revenue share generated. If the IOC paid even just 10% of their earnings to the athletes, each athlete could get around $67,000 for competing. Also, they don't pay any of the workers at the events. Unpaid volunteers help the IOC and
That's
local
crazy.
organizers run the games. They typically receive uniforms, food when they work, and some minor transportation costs. Lodging is included.
Minor.
Paris had 45,000 volunteers. If they paid the workers minimum wage, that would cost around $100 million, less than 1% of their total revenue generated.
volunteer
So
for
that
free.
kind of begs the question, what exactly does the IOC spend all that money on? Well, they claim that they, quote, redistribute 90% of their revenue. But what does redistribution mean? Surely they aren't redistributing that money into the pockets of oligarchs around the world, right? Well, their accounting records seem strategically vague. They say that they pay $40 million in cultural and heritage costs, $190 million in central operating and administrative costs, $46 million to the promotion of the Olympic movement, $54 million in IOC operations, and my favorite, $46 million goes to special projects. And these are just a few
You really
examples
gotta
of what seems
really,
to be
really
an endless
promote the
list of
Olympics.
extremely vague expenditures in the tens of millions of dollars. So which of these expenditures count as redistribution, and what do they even mean by redistribution? I don't know, but we know for a fact that $0 is redistributed to the athletes. That is actually up for the country of the athlete's origin to take care of. You may know that every country will pay its athletes for winning a gold, silver, or bronze medal, but the difference in pay country by country will shock you. According to CNBC, gold medalists from Hong Kong were paid $768,000, silver medalists were paid $384,000,
America.
and bronze medalists were paid $192,000.
What the fuck?
The country of Singapore has a very similar payout structure, and these are amounts that allow these athletes to train, live comfortably for years, and maybe even save for the future. However, there is a significant drop in pay from the second highest to the third highest, with Indonesia paying $300,000 for gold, $150,000
some
for
of all these
silver,
countries
and
are not rich
$60,000
countries,
for
though.
bronze. These are still solid payouts, but shockingly, the United States offers some of the lowest pay for winning: $38,000 for gold, $23,000 for silver, and
You telling me I make more than a fucking gold medalist? I mean, I ain't complaining because, you know, I work hard now. I work hard now. That's crazy. Then I just put my fucking business on the street. God damn it. Fuck. I make $15,000 a year, you guys. 15,000. You telling me a regular Joe that works at fucking Walmart. I used to work at Walmart. I used to make 30 some thousand a year at Walmart. Telling me I can make more than a silver medal person, or around the gold medal person. That's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy because, like, obviously, I mean, niggas. I'm not trying to like downplay working a 9-to-5 job, because obviously, like, them people deserve that money for. We deserve our money and probably more for our hard work. But y'all telling me y'all only paying these niggas this much in America? All that hard work they put in to make our country look good. And that's just the people that won. They're people that work hard and don't win shit and don't get nothing. Nothing, not one thing. That's crazy.
$15,000 for bronze. Mind you, this is only paid out to the athletes that win a medal, and even still, it barely puts a dent in the cost of training to become a world-class athlete. The Wall Street Journal did a study that estimated it costs between $25,000 and $40,000 per year to train to become an Olympic swimmer. These costs include coaches, access to professional facilities, membership fees, travel, equipment, etc. Three-time Olympic water polo gold medalist Maggie Steffens speculated it cost about $3,300 a month to train in Long Beach for the Olympics as a full-time job, and that's only if the training itself is paid for. If it's not, athletes have to pay for coaches, trainers, and gym memberships, or find those who will do it pro bono. Now, in countries like China or Russia, the government will actually fund elite sports programs. However, American athletes have to rely mostly on private funding from some nonprofit sports federations and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee. For example, USOPC stipends range from as low as $300 to $2,000 per month, depending on your sport, ranking, and medal potential. That might cover your protein powder and one plane ticket, not your rent, not your coach, not your groceries, and definitely not your medical bills if you get injured. The only athletes who don't struggle with funding are those who received scholarships to universities with unlimited access to world-class facilities and coaches, or those with massive corporate sponsors. Simone Biles is probably the most recognizable Olympic athlete today. She reportedly earned $5 million per year in endorsements at her peak, thanks to deals with brands like Athleta, Visa, Uber Eats, and Wheaties. But most of that money is tied to the fact that she is a celebrity with 12 million followers on Instagram. When she is competing, viewership shoots way up, and corporations are willing to spend a lot to have their logo attached to their likeness. For example, track and field sprinter Noah Lyles was widely regarded as one of the most promising and dynamic figures in the sport. In 2016, Lyles and his brother Josephus decided to turn pro when they signed an 8-year deal with Adidas. After winning the 100 meters at the 2024 Paris Olympics, he signed an extension with Adidas. And while the specific details of the contract were not disclosed, Lyles' agency, Global Athletics and Marketing Inc., claimed that the deal is, quote, the richest contract in the sport of track and field since the retirement of Usain Bolt. So winning a medal might help you out, but if you're not in a very popular sport or you don't have a social media presence, your chances of securing major sponsors are slim. A gold medal in judo doesn't sell cereal boxes the same way gymnastics or swimming might. And even if one of these lesser known athletes,
in order for them sports to get gold, to get sponsorship, you gotta win multiple golds, multiple medals, just for them to even recognize you, especially in America. I don't know about other country. I'm not
athletes was able to secure a smaller sponsor by, let's say, like a local bank or a landscaper or some rich person in their local community. They couldn't even promote their sponsors during the Olympics due to IOC Rule 40, which restricts non-official Olympic sponsors from being mentioned by athletes during the games. So with a fundamentally broken business model, extremely high costs to be an athlete, and no way of securing funding, the only thing left to do for them is to get a job. Three-time medal-winning swimmer Nick Fink, 3x3 basketball player Canyon Barry, and rock climber Jesse Grouper all worked as engineers while training, which is an honorable career. But not everyone can find a salary job that covers all basic needs. American boxer Morel McCain said she worked several paid-by-the-hour flexible jobs. She tried being a birthday party clown, a daycare supervisor, and a mailroom worker to fund her Olympic journey. The IOC even funded a day-in-the-life docuseries called Day Jobs, where the description of the series says, behind the glitz and glamour of the games, many world-class athletes must work around the clock to fund their Olympic dream. They shared the stories of Olympians who are also doctors, dentists, math teachers, firefighters. These are extremely honorable men and women, but I find this so slimy. The Olympic Committee could literally just pay these athletes. Like, this docuseries doesn't need to exist if they just got paid, but instead they're throwing a camera in their face and saying, oh, this must be so hard for you to fund this dream. And the ironic part about it is that this feel-good documentary will probably make enough money in advertiser revenue that could pay for all of these Olympians' full-time salaries tenfold. Many Olympians just set up GoFundMes. Badminton player Jenny Zhai got nearly $22,000. Table tennis player Kanak Jha raised over $30,000. But even relying on the kindness of others is extremely exhausting. As you can imagine, many Olympians get fed up often, it becomes difficult to suppress those emotions. American discus thrower Veronica Fraley tweeted, "I compete in the Olympic Games tomorrow and I can't even pay my rent. My school only sent about 75% of my rent while they pay football players who haven't won anything enough to buy new cars and houses." The tweet went viral, and hours later her rent was paid by rapper Flava Flav and Reddit's co-founder Alexis Ohanian, who sent the athlete thousands of dollars. At a certain point, some athletes stop waiting for a stipend, a sponsor, or some miracle donation from a celebrity. When you've trained your whole life to represent your country at the highest level, only to be told there's no money left for rent, food, or healthcare, it's not hard to see why some athletes reach a breaking point. And when the system leaves you with no real support, no real income, and no rules about how you can make money, some start looking at options they might one day regret, like OnlyFans. Canadian track and field star Alicia Newman created her OF account at the height of the pandemic. She regularly posted content ranging from training sessions to explicit photo shoots and videos. And according to Alicia, she initially had reservations about joining the platform, revealing that her first discussion was with her family. "I said, I know there's a lot of stigma behind this website, and this is new to me, but what do you think? I remember my sister said, if you don't try, how would you ever know? And she was right. If I didn't go on it then I wouldn't be on it now. Clearly something resonated with me, and it changed my life completely. I get excited about what people ask for. It gives me a good insight into what people are thinking about me. Lots of people have asked for photos of all my medals lined up. They love that stuff." Now, she's describing joining this platform as an ambitious and honorable adventure that is merely just a great way to connect with her fans. And you'll notice that a lot of athletes put this fluffy language to sugarcoat what they are actually doing, which is charging gooners to goon to their NSFW pictures and videos.
So it launched, it went super well. I think I had in like 45 minutes, I had like 45,000 people sign up. And I think it was like $29.99 at that time.
Damn.
And I'm like, okay, so people are interested. And I'm good at sharing these numbers. Again, like now everyone's like, you gotta be more careful, like what you share. But at that time, it was like, wait, so people do care. It like reassured me that like people are interested in what Alicia Newman's doing.
45,000 subs at $30 a piece. That's $1.3 million. Mind you, at this point, Alicia was a no-name pole vaulter. She got 17th place at the Rio
Subscribe to my
Games.
OnlyFans, boys. Subscribe to my OF. Subscribe to my OF, man. Y'all fuck with me, man. Y'all gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'll post every day on that bitch, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be doing shit for y'all, but I'll be on that bitch, man.
And did not even advance to the finals in the Tokyo Games. But in 45 minutes, she made more money than the top 1% of Olympians. And I feel like I need to say this clearly. When a woman launches an OF, people expect that it's nude pics or prawn. Now, Alicia said that she was just planning on vlogging her adventures as an Olympian, but the vast majority of people who paid $30 just want to see goon material. Here is a down bad thread of presumably men saying how her OF is a scam because she isn't revealing enough. Specifically, some who admitted to paying $200 for VIP access to see more. And yeah, Alicia may have started this with good intentions. Maybe she did just want to connect with her fans and post a little behind the scenes content and maybe, you know, an explicit photo here and there. But the reality is the demand skews heavily towards adult content on that site. And when thousands of people are tipping extra for more skin, you get to a point where you have to satisfy those paying customers, or they start canceling their subscriptions, and then you have to market your platform to get new customers. OF is not just a side hustle anymore, it starts to reshape their behavior. And after Alicia won the bronze medal in the pole vault at the 2024 Games, she celebrated by twerking on the world stage. Good. What an embarrassment. Guess she forgot she was representing her country and not on OF. While Alicia did get a ton of criticism for her actions, she even admitted that her intentions going into the games were to grow her subs. She said, "I felt that, with or without the medal, getting the exposure on the worldwide stage would give me an additional fan base." And she was right. She said that her OF subscribers exploded after this moment.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all niggas horny as hell. That bitch twerked for 1.3 seconds, and y'all niggas subscribe to her OnlyFans because of that. You niggas is some weird. Y'all some real gooners. I think y'all are some real gooners. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, for sure. Like a lot, like 10 times more than what I've had on before. I can't say a real number. The only reason I'm not saying it is because as we speak, like numbers are being added.
Now, if Alicia is not exaggerating and actually 10x'd her previous subs, we are talking about potentially $5-10 million. So now you have to ask, what exactly are we incentivizing here? If an Olympic medalist sees more financial success in going viral for being provocative than for being elite at their sport, then the games aren't just a competition anymore. They're a marketing funnel for adult explicit content. And Alicia's success on OF has led to countless Olympians following her lead. Jack Lauer is a decorated Olympian springboard diver, earning 1 gold medal for the 3-meter synchronized and 1 silver medal for the 3-meter springboard at the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Games. But even with this impressive resume, he just wasn't making enough money. So he began posting photos of his physique on OnlyFans during his preparation for Paris 2024. In his own words, just like most Olympic sports, there isn't a lot of money in diving. When I was younger, my dad would say, if you win an Olympic gold medal, that's worth 1 million euros. But it's not. It's nowhere near that. And I can tell you that as someone who has got an Olympic gold medal. In defense of his career change, Jack claimed funding had not really changed since 2011. And over the last 15 years, he's only seen a pay increase of about 7,000 euros. But Jack didn't really need to justify his actions because podcasts and national news surprisingly cover these decisions with overwhelming support, or they make it into a joke.
Jack started posting content after the Tokyo Games. He says it was his dad who originally gave him the idea. He doesn't post any nude content, which seems like an oversight because divers very fit.
Also, they're known for their smooth entry and minimal splash, so...
What's really wild about this, though, is Jack has now signed up for OnlyFans. Yeah. I was already paying to see Jack off the diving board, and now...
His dad made an interesting comment about Jack's content. There's nothing left to the imagination when you just wear trunks all the time, and he just posts pictures of himself as you would see if he was in a competition. It makes extra money for him, and he's pleased to have the opportunity, but it's nothing that you couldn't show your grandma. Lauer's account, costing $10 a month for a subscription, says, "Hi, I'm Jack Lauer, and I'm the British Olympic diver you probably heard has an OF. This page is a celebration of underwear and Speedos and a place to come and chat to the real me. I am still a performing athlete, so there will be no full frontal nudity. However, I do like to show off as much as I can get away with. We are basically letting extremely horny people determine that gooning to an Olympian's body is worth more than their extraordinary athletic ability that they dedicated their lives to. And we have seen athletes be pressured from fans and the media to join in on it, like French pole vaulter Anthony Amarati. During the 2024 Paris Olympics, Anthony attempted to clear 5.7 meters. He first clipped the bar with his shins and knees, and then as he descended, the bar got stuck on his crotch and knocked it down, resulting in a 12th place finish. He should have been disqualified for using 2 poles anyway. And while I wish we could say that this was just a funny moment that we could all laugh at and move on from, it proved that we may be at the point of no return. Following the games, the 21-year-old athlete earned tens of thousands of new followers, as well as a $250,000 offer from the adult website CamSoda. An article from TMZ detailed how CamSoda Vice President Darren Parker reportedly sent Anthony an offer letter outlining the deal. If it was up to me, I'd award you for what everyone else saw, your talent below the belt. As a lover of crotch-centric activities, I'd love to offer you up to $250,000 in exchange for a 60-minute webcam show in which you show off your goods, minus the crossbar, of course. However, Anthony never publicly spoke about the offer. Similarly, French Olympic diver Jules Boyer was offered a lifetime supply of underwear from the brand Shinesty after the internet went crazy over his bulge during the games. When we saw what Olympic diver Jules Boyer was packing in his south of France, it didn't matter that we were an American company. We wanted to give it a gold medal and protect that front truck of his for many Olympics to come. Thankfully, Jules shut down all the horny freaks. He said, "It amused me. That said, we mustn't forget that it can take the athlete out of his bubble and that that it can hurt. It was rather fun. I prefer people to look at my dives rather than my briefs, but there's nothing to worry about. And even though Jules showed resistance to temptation, countless athletes are giving in. Bronze medal basketball player Liz Cambage retired from basketball after launching her OF. Gold medal German bobsledder Lisa Buckwitz joined the platform as well. German diver Timo Barthel, New Zealand rower Robbie Manson, and British diver Noah Williams are just a few of the many who are funding their careers through OF. However, there is one athlete that openly regrets resorting to this form of making money, but he was just bold enough to admit it. Mexican diver Diego Isaias, who was 4th in synchronized diving on the 10-meter platform at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, said that he was desperate for money after he and his colleagues were impacted by a dispute between World Aquatics and Ana Guevara, the head of Mexico's National Sports Commission. According to Diego, they stopped providing monthly payments for aquatics athletes in January of 2023. We train 8 hours a day. It's a high-performance sport that takes up a lot of our time, and we see it as a job, as it should be. So we see the scholarship as a salary that gives us enough to live on. And although Diego created his OF to fund his journey to the Olympic Games and prepare for his competition, he also needed the income for his mother. It occurred to me to open it because you are always looking for a way to make income. I support my house and my mother, and I have bills to pay, and you can upload whatever you want in there. I am happy that the people who are in my page have been very good and respectful. I hope they continue like this. Diego charged a monthly fee of $15 to access his content, but offered quarterly packages for $40. He said, "The money I now receive is very volatile, but it has served me well so far. I'm not a person who's embarrassed about my body. I've worked on my body for 20 years, and I also want to break that taboo." Still, Diego needed to compete at the World Championships in Japan in July of 2023 to qualify for the Paris Olympics. Unfortunately, Diego failed to qualify for the games and planned to close his OF account, stating that the experience left him feeling dejected. Now, when he launched his account, he was using that same kind of fluffy language that Newman and Lara were using, talking about breaking taboos and connecting with fans and being proud of what they are posting. But without the same level of success on OF and failing to move up in the Olympics, Diego revealed what he really felt about the whole thing. He said, "I firmly believe that no athlete does this because they like it. It's always going to be because you need to." The same exact sentiments were expressed by British canoeist Kurt Adams-Rosentals, who was suspended by Paddle UK for his OF content. Paddle UK is the national governing body for canoeing, kayaking, and paddle sports in Britain. They're in charge of everything from Olympic team
British, UK, United Kingdom. Nobody gives a fuck about paddling. For you to be suspended, nigga, have an OF. I don't know about the UK. I ain't gonna speak for the UK. My fault. But in America, nobody gives 4 fucks. You go to a random American, talk about name a paddle contestant. Nigga ain't gonna know not one. Not one. Only people that cares about these small competitions is like smaller countries. I ain't gonna say. In my opinion, I'm talking from my opinion, it's smaller countries because they know for the most part they're not gonna win track. They're not gonna win basketball for the most part. Because usually the Americans win basketball. And usually they say, I'm not lying, people like, oh no. No, for the most part, Jamaicans win track. You know, between the Jamaicans and then, you know, maybe the Americans in track. Gymnastics, I don't know who usually wins that, but I've seen Americans win that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of countries win, like Japan, I don't know, wins gymnastics, but from that, other smaller countries, they depend on shit like this.
Selection to coaching programs and training standards. For elite athletes, they're the ones who decide who gets funding, who competes, and who doesn't. So when they suspended Kurtz, that meant that his Olympic dreams were over, forcing him to choose between making content on OF and chasing the gold.
Yeah, you know, it's questionable, but it's definitely legal. And since I started on January 10th, a couple of days ago, across the 6-figure mark, which for somebody who comes from no money, that is insane.
6 figures. So you're earning more than £100,000 in less than 6 months.
I want to make it clear, I don't believe this is how the world should be. But yeah, it's been absolutely shocking.
Throughout this interview, Kurtz made it very clear that he doesn't like OF, he doesn't think he should have to resort to this, and he would quit if there was a better option.
It's questionable, and I just want to make it clear, I didn't grow up wanting to be an OnlyFans creator. I've tried everything to supplement sport. I did freelance video editing, working to the night. You can't train.
Sounds like you're making loads of money from this, though. I mean,
I
given
did
the
Amazon
choice.
warehouse. I've done everything. I just want to make it clear.
If the choice is.
Similarly, Paraguayan swimmer Luana Alonso also joined OF, but was kicked out of the Olympic Village for creating an inappropriate environment with her behavior, which many assume that this behavior was whatever she was doing to create content for her OF.
What?
She's only 21 years old, which could be her athletic prime, but has now retired, which again, many assume is because her online following is much more rewarding than chasing Olympic medals. It seems like the public's general opinions on this matter are split, but many are supportive. From a financial perspective, the choice is obvious. The IOC's business model is fundamentally designed to make them billions of dollars and does not even consider paying the athletes a dime. It's a disgrace. With OF, athletes get consistent money, a direct customer base, and a way to stay financially independent in a system that refuses to pay them. For some athletes, this might be the only way to continue chasing their dreams without working 3 side jobs or begging for sponsors. And yeah, there's a certain satisfaction in watching these athletes beat the greedy system by monetizing their own image on their own terms. This might be a hot take, but I think that it's positive that OF is becoming more normalized. Sex workers have been demonized in society for a long time, and nudity and sex are not evil or immoral. And while it is true that these things are not inherently bad, in fact, they are natural. But there is a massive underbelly of OF and X work that is dark, complicated, and overlooked. At the end of the day, OF creators are running a business, and their customers are likely goon addicts. Once they determine that what you are posting is not good enough, they might start making extreme or degrading requests for large sums of money. A refusal could lead to obsessive fans committing content leaks, doxing, stalking, revenge prawn addiction, stuff that can completely destroy someone's sense of safety and privacy. The patriarchy has convinced women that doing degrading acts and showing their naked bodies for the consumption of other strangers is empowering. What might feel empowering in the moment can follow someone for the rest of their life. So while we can applaud these athletes for finding creative ways to survive a broken system, we also have to admit that this solution is just another kind of exploitation, one that pretends to be freedom. And at some point, we just have to draw a line. If the system is so broken that the only way to make a livable wage is to sexualize yourself online, especially when you're in a respected position like representing your country on a global stage, that should be concerning. Imagine if a school teacher started an OnlyFans because their salary couldn't cover their rent or health care. Most people wouldn't applaud that as empowerment, they'd call it a societal failure. And yet, when it's an Olympian, we cheer it on because it's marketed as bold and liberating. Now, the US government wastes our tax dollars on all kinds of nonsense. Personally, I'd be thrilled to know if some of the money was going to Olympians, people who actually represent our country and inspire the next generation with values like discipline, resilience, and hard work. If we can fund nuclear war machines all around the world, then I think we can afford to help an elite athlete pay their rent.
Like I said, I will say this. Like, you have money to exploit these athletes, and then you don't have the money to give them what they're to pay them for their hard work. For just getting to the Olympics is an accomplishment for anybody. I don't give a fuck who you are or where you're from. Getting to the Olympics is an accomplishment. Just competing in the Olympics, it should be an accomplishment. And you tell them you can't give them no type of payment for their hard work, no type of. It's crazy. So it's just, I don't know. Tell me how y'all feel about the video down below, man. Let me see. I want to see y'all opinions on this, man. What y'all feel? Do y'all support athlete that does go to OF or whatever, trying to support themselves and stuff like that, or let me know down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and shout out to Patrick CC. And check out the last Patrick CC video right here. Check out another video right here, and I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.